In this video then guys, I take a look at the 1999 animated Disney classic movie Tarzan, in which is the 37th Disney classic movie in the Disney classic franchise. So without further ado, let's get into today's review. So I thought then that this was an amazing animated Disney movie and one of the best of the 90s in my personal opinion, up there with some of the great Disney movies that we've seen. And is so iconic, and I love this story of a kid being raised by gorillas. It is great on screen and everything like that as the gorillas take him in after his parents get killed, and I think that was different to what we've seen so far in the Disney classic franchise, a bit different, and that's why it might stand out a little bit more, and it's just different, and I like that. I also like how they explore the ways in which Tarzan is different from the rest of the gorillas, as at first you see Tarzan accepting that this is his family of gorillas, and that he just doesn't get why he looks a little bit different to them, but accepts it. But as he gets older, you start to see him questioning whether or not he belongs there. And it's understandable. It's very understandable in that sense, as he looks not only different to them, he's nothing really like them in terms of what they look like, how they act, and things like that. And I think, yes, although he's gained a few of their traits, like walking on their hands and on their feet and rarely stands up as such, I think that was one of the only things that he picked up off them, and the language of course. But I think he finds out how different he is from the gorillas when he meets somebody like him, when he meets the likes of Clayton and Jane for the first time, as he's sort of like, oh, these are people like me, these are where I'm from. And then it clears up his mind and clears up the situation when his so-called mum shows him that his original parents were killed at a young age, when he was young, really young, and that's when they took him in. And I think it took him a while to figure out that he was different, and different's not always bad, and that they treat him like his family, apart from Kuchak, who didn't really understand how Tarzan could be like them, and really couldn't get into why his wife took him in, and was a bit disappointed in why he was brought in, and was most of the time angry at him because he's not like them. And he has to wait a long time, Tarzan, till he gains his trust, and that's not right until the end of the movie, where he accidentally betrays his family when Clayton comes in and tries to trick Tarzan into giving up where his family is, and he does that by luring him in, being kind to them and whatever. And then that's when Clayton takes advantage and takes Tarzan and says, oh, you're coming to London or coming back with us, and then actually gets taken and put into the bottom cellar of the boat. And that's when they exploit and go after the family of gorillas. And until he breaks captivity, then he gains the trust back of Kuchak when he saves him and his family. Although Kuchak ends up taking a bullet and ends up dying, I think that he managed to earn the respect of Tarzan at the end. And that was just a little moment where we see Tarzan taking the torch of Kuchak in a very respectful manner of the leader of the gorillas. On this, I thought Kuchak's death was a good send-off for the character, as we see him being sort of like a nasty piece of shit for most of the movie, to be fair. And it's not until at the end where we see, oh, he just didn't think he was one of them, and he learned himself that, oh, I could see what everyone else is seeing in Tarzan, and that he's nice, he'll do anything for his family, and that he is one of them. Although he might not look the same, he is one of them, and that is something where you go, oh shit, so much developed there. And I really enjoyed that. I also thought that Jane and Tarzan's relationship was really good in this movie, as we see at the start that Jane's a little bit freaked out by Tarzan, and she really doesn't know what he is until she starts to realise that it's a person that's grown up in the wild, and that he's a little bit strange because of the fact that he doesn't know much English, and he just picks up things around him, Tarzan, and it just shows when she says Clayton, and then he repeats back when he hears a gunshot. And I think those sorts of things really showed the development of the two characters, and she helps him learn English. She learns him how to be like a human being rather than a gorilla, and I like that. And the two end up becoming very close friends, and to them becoming in love with each other towards the end of the movie, when Tarzan helps save her and bust her out and bust all the gorillas out, and then she realizes that the gorillas are his family. And I think that relationship between the two was really good, and obviously it definitely turned into a love relationship, and we'll see further down the line in the further Tarzan movies, likes of Tarzan and Jane and Tarzan 2, whether or not this relationship ends up staying together, or whether or not these two become even closer than they were in this movie. One of the other things that I always say about a movie is that it should always have a banging soundtrack. To be an iconic film or to be an amazing film is to have some sort of songs in there that are powerful and helps the emotion come out in a sense. In the likes of this movie and the likes of Lion King, they use songs to elevate their movies, and they did this in this scenario with You'll Be My Heart by Phil Collins, and Phil Collins did the full soundtrack of Tarzan, and it is amazing. It elevates the movie to a different stratosphere. The songs really capture the emotions, and I love the songs in there. I think they're very good. They don't only just elevate the emotions, they also just bring an element where if you wanted to sing along to it, you could do, and it brings happiness, joy through singing in this sort of movie. I think that it helped through the transitions of the movie. It just helps smooth the movie out in total. Finally then, I thought that the actors and actresses were phenomenal, as we saw the likes of Tony Goldwyn, Minnie Driver, we saw the likes of Brian Blessed, we saw the likes of Glenn Close, Lance Hendrickson, Wayne Knight, Alex D. Linz, and Rosie O'Donnell. Those are just to name a few of the actors and actresses that were in this movie that were just absolutely great. I don't think it would have been the same movie without them being in there. To summarise this Disney classic movie then, I think that this was awesome. It was a great and one of the 90s best classic Disney movies, and even the 90s Disney movies to be fair, and is up there with some of the all-time great animated movies, hence why I've rated this movie an 8 out of 10 and a classic film. So let me know down in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video. And also, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be alerted to all the new content that this channel creates, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Laters.